Hi, Kikkan.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you? I like the shirt.
Thank you. Just had to wear the USA apparel.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being on the show. It's honestly such an honor to have you here. Yeah, just watching your success over the years has been incredible. Even though I'm honestly a terrible skier, it's the fact that you've inspired a whole new generation. It's truly amazing.
Well, thank you. I like to say we all slide on snow, and that's what unites us.
So when did you fall in love with skiing actually? Like at what age did you know that you wanted to pursue it professionally?
Well, it was this kind of cool path of exploration growing up. So my family is really active. My dad grew up in Wisconsin, but fell in love with alpine skiing in high school. So he moved out west and got involved with the World Pro Skiing Circuit, which was a professional alpine race circuit at the time. So he was around alpine racing and loved all the alpine skiing. My mom came from the cross country side. She actually has a brother and a sister that went to the Olympics in cross country skiing. My mom competed in college. So the two met at a ski resort in California. And so for my earliest memories, I was on skis and loved the alpine at first. Didn't exactly love the cross country at first because it was, hard work but they did a good job of coaxing me with lots of games and, tricking me into if I skied up the hill, I could go down and go up jumps. And so it just kind of let me experiment and play and stuff. And then when I got into high school, I met this running coach and I was really excited to join the running team and was loving pushing myself in cross country and track. And all my running friends were going to do cross country skiing in the winter. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try to do alpine to do it both. But that was pretty difficult. So I ended up kind of getting pulled to cross country. And then in my sophomore year of high school, I injured myself in a couple accidents. Broke my collarbone in the fall, and then I ended up breaking my back in the spring doing this crazy fun race. So after that whole cycle, I started to realize oh man, running can be pretty hard on your body. And at the same time, I got introduced to a new ski program that had just started in Anchorage. And I started talking to the coaches, and within a couple weeks, I realized this cross country was this open frontier. No American woman had ever medaled in the sport, and I love that I could combine all my effort from the running, but use kind of some more of my muscular strength. And so I switched my goals to more ski-oriented stuff that year, and then it just started to really snowball from there.
So the moment you realized that you and your teammate Jessie Diggins won the gold medal, what was going through your head? Is it possible to put that feeling into words?
Sure. So I did the first leg. So, I had done my final lap and, gave everything. So I fell down in the snow, and it took me a few moments to kind of gather myself and get back up. And so by the time I looked up, Jessie and Norway and Sweden, they were coming down the big climb into the stadium. And at that point, there were 3 racers. So for a split second, I let myself think oh my gosh, barring disaster, we're going to get a medal. And then at that exact moment, I saw Jessie go so wide. She went out of the V-boards for a second. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to watch. But she snuck back through. And then I was running over to the finish area, and there were a bunch of photographers in the way. So it was kind of peeking around. And so I saw them come off the final turn, and I just started yelling. And then I realized the Swedish teammate was right next to me. So she started yelling. So I feel like we kind of had our own little screaming match to see who could will their teammate to the finish line quicker. And then they lunged at the line. I thought it was a photo finish. And so I look up at the scoreboard and I see number 1, United States, 0.19. And I realize it's not just a photo finish. We just won the gold medal. And I was so unprepared for that I just let out this ugly, awkward yell. I ran over and I tackled Jessie right away. And she still had enough breath to say, did we just win the Olympics? And the coolest part was that as soon as we got up, our entire team was right there on the fence. All these teammates that over the years we had pushed each other, we'd all talked about how only 2 of us could be on the snow that night. And it was hard to pick the team. So the fact that they were there to support us, that they could be a part of what we all worked on together. Same thing with all the coaches and the wax technicians, and my family was there. My husband, Jeff, was in the finish. For me, it had just been this long road of working up to it, knowing it was possible, and just getting to finally feel the satisfaction that we did it.
Since the U.S. had enjoyed much success in cross-country skiing, how does it feel to be part of that revolution to inspire more kids to pick up the sport and kind of change the perception around it?
Well, one of the coolest stories that I've heard since the Olympics in 2018 was a parent overheard two little 7-year-old boys out at the ski stadium one day, and they were out there all by themselves. And one of them was going, "All right, you be Jesse, and I'll be Kikkan, and we'll come in and we'll do the tag." And these like two little boys were, reenacting our Olympic race, and they were just psyched, and they didn't care that no one was around. That was an amazing moment to know that kids are now like inspired to believe they can be the best in the world. Also to know that like youth participation in the sport of cross country is up all over the country. I was also on a chairlift in Deer Valley, goggles on, helmet on, like no one could tell who I was. Strike up a conversation with this guy, and he's like, "Oh, I love the Olympics. I just watched, there was, Pyeongchang was so great. But my favorite was those cross country girls. Like that Jessie Diggins, she was amazing. And her partner was pretty good too. And I just was so inspired by what they did." And I'm just kind of sitting there going, I let him go on for a little bit, and I went, "I'm her partner." And so it's just so cool to see like that people who just weren't even fans of the sport, like they got inspired, they got excited. Now they want to watch skiing. And, I think that's the best thing you could ask for. The gold medal I have is great, but the intangible effects of winning that medal are just beyond imagination.
So what were some of the greatest setbacks in your career, and how were you kind of able to bounce back from those failures and injuries that come along the way?
Well, I have quite a few. The one thing when you see the Olympics on TV, you get to see like the glorious moments, and you don't get to necessarily see the roller coaster that athletes ride on the way there. But I think all of the setbacks I had along the way really helped build my strength and my character to the point where 6 weeks before Pyeongchang, I developed a stress fracture in my foot. Not the exact ideal Olympic preparation you want. I knew it was going to be hard to make that relay team. My teammates were all competing in World Cup, skiing incredibly fast, doing exactly the training they wanted to do. And for me, I had to go into the pool, and I was aqua jogging. I was, doing stuff with my upper body, trying not to freak out that my last chance at this Olympic relay, the time was ticking and I was injured. But because I had been in that situation so many times to realize, all right, this is not the ideal situation. This is a setback, but I got to focus on what I can do. And if I focus on those things, I can keep doing enough to where when I'm healed or I'm ready, then I'm still in the game. And then fast forward 3 months after we won that gold medal, I find out I have cancer, something just totally unexpected, scary. It's amazing how that athlete frame of mind just like clicked into gear again and went, okay, this is going to be another situation where focus on what you can control, stay hopeful for the future, and we'll get through this one day at a time. And then here we are in COVID, and it's the same thing. I can't go out and do all the things I want to do. I have no idea what the future holds. The world is like in uproar. What can I do today to set myself up for the future I want?
So you mentioned cancer. How did you find out about it? Like at what point in your journey? You said 3 months right after winning the gold medal. Like walk me through what was going through your head as soon as you found out that you had cancer.
Well, it was so crazy. Like the season had ended. My family and I had moved from Alaska down to British Columbia. There was, of course, a whirlwind of stuff coming off the gold medal. But I was in the shape of my life. I mean, I was in cloud 9 because I just had experienced the most amazing thing. So it was Mother's Day, and I was getting ready for bed, and I just happened to brush past the spot on my chest that felt like a little pea under the skin. And I was like, shoot, I don't remember that before. That's kind of weird. And so even though I felt amazing, I was like, you know what, I better go get it checked just to make sure. It took a couple of weeks to get in line for the scans. So the whole time I'm just kind of like, you know what, I'm fine. I'm young and healthy. This is, I'm just going to rule this out. But when we did the ultrasound and the biopsy, we realized it was actually aggressive breast cancer. And then I ended up finding that it had gone to one of the lymph nodes in my armpit. So then it was like serious because it was on the move, and like things can, progress so rapidly. So it was like right away. I mean, the first feeling was just disbelief. Like how can this be possible? I just won an Olympic gold medal. And then it kind of morphed to frustration of like, this isn't fair. Like I take good care of myself. I do everything right. All the things but then, okay, this is reality. So here we are in that mindset again of, okay, this is tough, but I'm going to focus on what I can control, and I'm going to stay hopeful and optimistic. And I also knew that I was not going to get through it myself. I was not going to be able to like be that fighter 100% every hour of the day. So I surrounded myself with amazing people that could, you know, also be positive, also lift me up, you know, be willing to support me. And that was by far and away the best decision I ever made, because my support team through all of it was just incredible. So yeah, it's that athlete frame of mind, you know, it's just like we train our muscles to get ready for the race. I think the more we exercise this like thought pattern of acknowledging thoughts, reframing it to always focus on what you can do, it just gets better and better over time. And it just almost doesn't matter what you face. You're ready. You're like, okay, I know how I got to get through this.
Since so many people look up to you, how are you using your platform to inspire more people during these difficult times? And also, like, I know you've been involved with Fast and Female, right? Could you talk a little bit about how you're empowering women through the organization as well?
Well, I learned early on from having so many incredible role models that when people can see someone that they relate to, someone they have a bit of a connection with, and you see them do something amazing, whether it's achieving a big goal or overcoming something challenging, it somehow gives you like, oh, well, if they did it, I can do it. And so I've found the same thing, like as an Olympic athlete, you know, a lot of people have looked up to me and said, wow, you know, Kikkan can come from a kid in Alaska to winning an Olympic gold medal that's never been done before. Like, what could I do? Or what's been even more incredible is through cancer. You know, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that have that shared experience. And so by being open and sharing my story, and I'll tell you, the tendency when you get news like that is to be like, oh man, no, I'm like, I don't want to tell anyone I'm going through this. I want them to think I'm this perfect athlete. But you say like, no, this is life. I'm going to show, you know, when I struggle, what's tough, what am I doing? And by being open about that, I think there were a lot of people that were able to say, oh, Kikkan's going through this. Look, she's working out. She's staying active. Okay, she's wearing happy socks. Darn it, I'm going to do that too. And it's helping them get through their challenges. And that's so cool to know that, like, when you pour energy out there into other people, into being a good example, and it helps lift up others, it gives meaning to what you're doing. And I love that part of what I get to do as an athlete, as a bit of a, you know, personality, a little bit, you know, this on social media, that kind of thing. So these days with, you know, all of us stuck at home because of COVID, definitely a lot of, you know, different opportunities, but probably even more opportunities to like say, hey, we're all going through this right now. So let's be constructive. Let's figure out what we can do. And just being creative about online platforms, social media, just ways to kind of set that example, demonstrate, give people hope that they get through this, and give them ideas on how to do it.
Lastly, do you have anything to say to people who are battling cancer at the moment? How can they keep a positive outlook and push through?
Yeah, I mean, I like to say, like, you know, we don't know what's going to happen, but why not focus on what we want to happen? Why can't things go well? Why can't we get back to doing all the things we want to do, feeling better, you know, celebrating the moments with people we love? And we don't have to even wait for that to happen. Like, we have these moments right in front of us, and they may look and feel differently than we had thought they would, but these are moments, this is the life we have, and you got to make the most of what you have right now. You know, you got just small little things that give you joy, help you feel accomplishment. Like, find those little things, because I really think that you start to add these little things together, and it starts to build this pyramid. And before you know it, a week goes by, and you're feeling better. You know, you're through another round of chemotherapy, and then from there, it's like, okay, you know, the next step. And it's amazing how those little things, like just deciding, I'm going to do what I can right now. I'm going to enjoy these moments I have, because that's all I know for sure. And I'm going to believe that I'm going to feel better.
Thank you so much, Kikkan. You're truly an inspiration to so many of us. And it's truly amazing how far you've come. Just whether it was skiing or it was the cancer journey, you never gave up, and you always put up a tough fight. So we truly admire that.
Sure. Well, you know, if I look back, all the best things in life always came after something hard. So, you know, the best things are yet to come.
All right.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye. You too.